Have your college tuition fees recently increased? Or have your public schools eliminated programs such as extracurricular courses? If so, these are a result of the drastic budget cuts that our state is facing. Potentially meaning no more free meals for your children, no more after-school programs while you're still at work, and possible school closures. As a state employee of higher education, a mother of a first grader, and a college student also, I am facing the effects of the state budget cuts that have recently occurred. So today, I am first going to talk about the causes of these recent budget cuts. Second, I'm going to discuss the effects of the budget cuts. And finally, what solutions are available to us. So let's begin with the causes of the recent state budget cuts. There are several reasons why the state has recently decreased its budgets by millions. The Tulsa World published an article on February 17th that in January of this year, $47 million was cut from our public schools and our higher education system. In the same article, the Tulsa World expressed that this was a result of the sharp declines in the state's revenue collections funds. The state budget director, John Estes, said at least one more expected budget cut is to occur before the end of this fiscal year, which is June 30th, in just 2 more months. Another source, the Oklahoma Watch, published in January that the state's failure was due to a low cost of oil. They also stated that the cutting income taxes and giving state tax breaks and business incentives also caused the recent budget cuts. Many still predict that our recent cuts are due to the economic decline of the Great Recession in 2009. So now let's discuss who's being affected by these budget cuts. Public schools could potentially close their doors permanently. Teachers are being laid off or are turning in their resignations and moving out of state. And child care concerns are becoming more severe for growing families. The Tahlequah Daily Press stated on March 13th that Keys Public School will start to take the remaining 8 Mondays of the remaining school year out of school. The same source predicts that other rural schools, such as Grandview, will begin a 4-day school week for the remainder of the fiscal year. As you can see, this is a letter from Brick School where my first grade stepdaughter currently attends school. This letter is informing me and my family that for the remaining of the school year, my daughter will be out of school every other Friday, and then every other Friday that they are still in school, they will be early released at 1 o'clock. That's halfway through the school day. This highly impacts my family's work schedule and raises a lot of child care concerns for us. If public schools do away with after-school programs, am I going to have to take off work to go and pick my daughter up from school and keep her for the remainder of the day because she's out of school early at 1 o'clock when I still have half of the day to work? Teachers are also being affected. They're being laid off by temporary contracts, or their extracurricular services are being cut from the school programs, and they're essentially being told not to return back to work. So with teachers being cut from our educational system, how are our children going to continue to learn? How are we going to continue to obtain a college education without faculty members? This also means fewer job opportunities for our communities, which are going to affect us a whole. So what can we do to resolve this budget crisis? There are several solutions to resolve the budget shortage. Increasing income taxes on certain households and businesses would be one solution. The Oklahoma Policy Institute noted that spending cuts takes money out of our economy rather than tax hikes. Reserve funds for the state could also be used. Fox 23 News noted that Governor Mary Fallin signed a couple of supplement bills that is going to allocate $80 million to public schools and higher education. These reserve funds out of the rainy day state funds is to be allocated for teachers' health benefits and their salaries. This is also for administrators and support personnel for public schools. Another solution would be the State Question 779, which 230,000 people signed this petition to have the state question put on the state ballot. State Question 779 is a proposal that sales tax be raised by 1 cent. This means that we must begin to invest in our educational system. If we continue to allow our educational system to diminish, our futures are going to be very bleak. The education of our children are paying the ultimate price, and so will ours if we continue to not invest in our college tuition. Our community is going to suffer as a whole, so through tax increases and revenue replenishes, we should highly invest in our educational system of Oklahoma.